got a little bit feisty as we saw a couple of fights between Big Jeff, the offensive line, defensive line, everybody hopping in on that. Have more for you coming up on 3HL. Then just a little while ago, the Chicago Bears head coach just announced that none of the starters for the Chicago Bears will be playing in the Hall of Fame game, as well as the Jets have said that Aaron Rodgers will most likely not be playing through the entire preseason. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Three HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. There is the potential for stormage, so stay tuned. We'll
Stay
keep
safe.
you updated.
Hope you have your Cove generator.
Hey, that's right. Stay connected through it all.
That's right.
Y'all both talked. I don't know who to
Promos
introduce.
coming straight through it.
I don't know who to introduce.
We're on
Ladies
fire
first.
today.
Babsy is and Slay. Both are on fire. Let me just go ahead and tell you. Babsy, what's up? How are you?
What up? Let's go.
Ramon said he's third in the chat.
Ramon's on fire, too. I saw his tweet.
Savage snuck in now.
I tell you what, this whole media former player thing.
It's real.
Yeah, we'll
And
definitely
current
spend a lot
player
of
thing.
time on that. YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. You can watch the show live there.
Yeah, Twitch, please.
The Evident Bank chat is open. Executive producer of 3HL is F.
What's up?
And Slay. I'm going right to
I'm in the
left.
building. I'm in the building. Loud, I'm in the building. And the car ain't got no roof.
Welcome in, Slay.
Hey,
How'd
What
the,
up, y'all?
How'd the follow-up dentist visit go today?
Man, we're real good,
Can you
man.
eating stuff now?
I'm back. I just can't smoke my cigars till Friday, and I can only have one Friday, and then I can continue on after that.
Uh-oh.
But everything else, I'm gonna go. Can't have sharp food, nothing sharp, no chips, no nachos.
Sharp
No
food.
peanuts?
Yeah, no. She said I can have peanuts.
Ugh.
She
I
said
think it's
nothing
a bad
sharp.
idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from them.
Yeah,
but-
don't do it.
Yeah, but she said nothing sharp. You can go tread.
Live your
lightly.
life as
Yeah.
it was meant to be lived,
Tread
Slay.
lightly. Tread lightly.
Tread lightly. Yeah, words to live by. Especially today.
Right?
Reminder, legendary broadcaster Jim Nance will be in studio with us on Thursday from 5
Booyah.
until 6 p.m.
Booyah.
Can't wait for that legend to be in here.
I was talking with one of his guys, and he said,
You got a rep?
Jim Nance probably has many reps.
Oh, that makes sense.
But I was talking with one of his guys, and he said he loves Neyland Stadium. Remember, he used to do games there in the 80s and 90s. I said, 1989 Tennessee-Auburn game. Tennessee won. He did that game. I remember it vividly.
Oh,
Sorry, Babs. That was the cobweb thing.
let's smile.
You had Reggie Slack was your quarterback. Alexander Wright was your wide receiver, who ran like a 4.18 or something, but never really did anything in the NFL.
Shocker.
I remember. So Jim Nance on Thursday.
Hey, total random Auburn nugget today. Hugh Freeze played his, last round of golf before season and had a hole in one. What?
my.
That's right. I'm telling you. Incoming year of the Auburn Tigers. Okay, carry on.
Because Hugh Freeze got a hole in one.
Hell yeah. It's an omen.
I like it, Babs. I roll.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
I used to fill in for Duncan Stewart and did sports on the House Foundation, Jerry House and the House Foundation. And Jerry House, avid golfer, hates hole-in-one stories because at that time he didn't have one.
I mean, I
don't
get
know.
it.
He still might not. But
Can I say this? I've witnessed like 7 hole-in-ones.
what?
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
Yeah, from like different people.
That means drinks all over the place.
I know. And it also means maybe I'm lucky you should have me out to golf with you.
I had an eagle.
Hey, that's a win.
It is.
Like on a par 4? Like you
No,
knocked
it was
in
a par 3. It was a terrible shot. It probably went 10 yards, and then I hit it from there, and it dropped straight in.
So I came across this story when I was filling in, and I read it on Jerry House's, and I just watched. He would like read the paper while I was doing sports. But I read an 88-year-old grandmother with a hole in one, and he like looked up from his paper, and he was like, "Stop, just stop." But she used like a driver from 130 yards out, and it like rolled up and in. But I've never had one.
Girl.
I've never had one.
No need to have one. It was a hole in one out there on the field today.
There was a lot going out
These Big
there.
Jeff takes in our chat
What was it?
are kind of crazy. I mean, like crazy.
So how do we even break?
Matt, I'm looking at you, Matthew.
Number one, if you're just now getting into the car, haven't seen much news today, Titans edge rusher Arden Key to be suspended for 6 games per Paul Koharski for PEDs. Danico Autry was popped yesterday. Can you imagine if both of them were still in this team?
That'd be trouble. Didn't they work out together this offseason? I'm pretty sure they did.
Well, there you go.
Just saying.
So what are they going to do? There are a couple of free agents out there that we've talked about, Yannick Ngakoue and Carl Lawson. They're both 29 years old. Lawson played 6 games last year for the Jets, had no sacks, no quarterback hits. Ngakoue played for the Bears, 4 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss. The year before, he had 9.5 in Indy, and the year before that, he had 10 in Vegas. So maybe the better out of those two. We'll see. But 6 games, man.
That is, it's brutal, man, especially for them from a depth standpoint. I mean, it is brutal.
So edge rusher Harold Landry back on the field today, 9.5 sacks in his last 12 games. So that was good to see him out there. Out today, L'Jarius Sneed, Cheeto, and Jamal Adams.
One-on-ones. Walking around, though.
Good. One-on-ones were open for video today, so there's a lot of video content out there.
There were fans there.
Yeah. And it looked like Caleb Farley. You guys were out there. It looked like Caleb Farley was performing.
He had a great day. Love to see it.
He had a good day last week too, and man, it's good to see that.
Can I also say this?
This is last year.
When he has a big breakup or a nice play, you feel it in your soul when you watch him celebrate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's gaining confidence by the second every time he, comes up with a big pass breakup or something. You just feel it because you feel him almost being back. I don't want to say back, but the fact that he can physically do what he's doing. And granted, I mean, it's one-on-ones, it's camp, I get it, it's day 4, but to see, it's not even day 4, I don't even know what day it is. Cool. But to see it is, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but and then to from his perspective also, like just being able to do drills and not hurt.
Right. To be able to complete.
You know what I mean? And now you diving in front of balls, batting them down, rolling on the ground, getting up, celebrating, like you said. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different stuff. Damn the game.
Am I right that you like feel it in your soul and you're like cheering on the inside?
Exactly. Because you know what he's been through. And it's one of those stories. You know what I'm saying? So
and listen, he's looked good.
No, he has. Yeah.
I mean, he's doing it against D-Hop today, Traylon today.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's performing. And watching the drill, I wasn't out there, but watching the drills, the clips on social media, it looks like he has the freedom within himself now to kind of let loose. And
it's getting better every day.
Blaine mentioned that on his show and said that he looks like he did when he was in college. Like the best he's looked, like just physically in terms of moving around since college.
Time is everything. Health is everything.
What you got? I'm going to get there.
Well, go.
T-Sweat going twice in drills at one point today while everyone else went once. How did he look?
Like T-Sweat?
Tired.
I thought he looked like T-Sweat. I thought he looked good to me.
How about that picture of him next to Big Jeff? Yes, I said Big Jeff.
Because he's
That's
big.
who he is. Yeah. It's okay to have 2 bigs.
Got a big personality, too.
Yeah, Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon played by each other. One was 7'4", one was 6'11".
I know.
Big.
If you let, that was my team. If you make Big Jeff look not small, but like smaller than what he usually looks like, that's something.
Yeah. Yeah,
that dude's legs, man.
Imagine what it would make Aaron Donald look like.
Yes.
Aaron Donald's smaller than Big Jeff. You know what I'm saying?
He's only 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
So, Calvin Ridley's route running, ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And those little comeback routes.
Separate them.
Yes. That's the other thing I wrote down. Separation in routes mean yards after catch. What did he look like?
I didn't get to see A.J. Brown up close like that, but I can imagine when combat catching and being able to pull away, this is a separator for me with Calvin Ridley. When he's shoulder to shoulder with someone, he's open. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. His pull away, his acceleration is different. So
it just looks different.
It looks different. It looks different.
I was here for A.J. Brown, and it didn't look like that.
Yeah, he's just big, and it's like, I'm going to go take this ball. Calvin Ridley can pull away. When you're even, he's gone.
What did I say the first day we walked out there? I mean, the first thing we saw, I said he looks different. And you got a Hall of Famer standing on the other side of the field.
Who looks good as well.
All right, Big Jeff and J.C. Latham get into it. Leads to there were a couple fights, right? Like there was that one, and then there was another one like the next play or two plays
it was
later.
Bad.
Yep.
I mean, I think there were probably like 3 total. The last one was the biggest, and you finally saw emotion and anger and fire from Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some choice words that I cannot repeat on this show, but it was to the effect of, stop wasting our time. Can we freaking practice? Get it together. That's the gist of it. And he was right. I mean, because by that third kind of big brawl, when it got really ugly and you had guys throwing punches, at that point, Callahan was done.
Yeah, and you also...
He was done, and he should have been. Honestly, he probably should have nipped it after the first one.
And he showed some fire that we haven't seen.
Correct.
Right?
And then in the post-presser, calm as can be.
Yeah, I think it's a part of understanding, too, who you have on the field, what type of mentality you have, what type of culture you have, also where you're coming from. This right here, this is what we're used to here in the AFC South as far as the Titans go. They're coming from the AFC North. This right here, this is a regular occurrence. You know what I'm saying?
Fights
it's a
on the first day,
not straight out fighting, but like it's heated.
There was one in Indianapolis today.
It happens. This is what... We've been so used to it with Vrabel throwing people out, get to the sand pit and all that, and then never getting to this point. I like this. Give me this. Just like y'all say you like when you see guys go out there in the preseason, they have to play games and get toughened up and callous up their skin. This is the same thing I like. I thought we should have saw it last week when they were just in shells. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much we can talk about, but I do know one thing, man, that O-line ain't backing down. And I think that's where it come from. You get in the front line with a leader up there like Big Jeff, who is the leader of that defense and the leader of the team, and he's fighting with the guys up front, and you know what they ain't doing? They ain't backing down. Peter Skoronski ain't budging. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you get better. You know what I mean? That's and then guess what? You get this out the way and you move on. Let's play.
You can talk about everything because there were fans out there.
Okay, well, it's cool. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like last week.
Let's get into it in detail when we come back and kind of like lay the foundation of what happened today with the fights, with Buck and all of that. We'll do that next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Jewelry, the Amamali family, Salem, Brandon, all the crew at Brentwood Jewelry, ready to help you out. 7012 Church Street in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. And they'll help you out for any of your jewelry needs, your gifting responsibilities throughout the course of the year. Maybe you have a family heirloom that's precious to you. Maybe it's not a style or a piece that you would wear currently. It's hard to let someone take that priceless heirloom and transform it into something that you can wear every day, but that's exactly what my friends at Brentwood Jewelry are known for, creating customized pieces. They can transform and create a personalized piece that's as unique as the person who left you that keepsake. Brentwood Jewelry here to help you pop the question. Let them help you take the stress out of selecting the perfect engagement ring. They can help you find a beautiful ring in your ideal budget. Browse their incredible selection of one-of-a-kind rings or talk with their custom design specialist to create a stunning ring as remarkable as your loved one. Anything you need jewelry-wise, they will help you, and they have and can get all of those things. Gifting responsibilities they can help you with. Brentwood Jewelry, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road, 7012 Church Street. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. Visit BrentwoodJewelry.com.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million are now up to $16 million in guaranteed prizes. You got 2 ways to win, people. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. If the team loses or ties, the entry is eliminated. Last but not least, they can win $10 million guaranteed. And Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed quarterly and full season. There are payouts The entry that does the worst wins $100,000. You must register at a Circa Sportsbook in Nevada. That's right, Las Vegas, Henderson, or Sparks, Reno. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. We are heading out to Circa Las Vegas, and we'll be doing our show live from Circa on August 22nd, 23rd. Come meet us there or get us there before, and you can already set up and you can bet from here. Entries are now open and closed September 7th at 2 p.m. Visit circasports.com for details. Must be 21 and present in Nevada to enter.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay with you on the Big Show Tuesday edition. We'll all be out at training camp tomorrow, and we'll have a couple of player interviews for you that Puff Daddy, Jared Puffer, has set up for us following practice, so we'll do that. All right, so you had the fights on the field. And
it was ugly.
How did they get control of it? Was it the head coach just screaming cuss words at everybody that got everybody's attention?
Players diffused it.
Yeah, I think the players took care of it.
And then he jumped in. You know what I mean? Huddled everybody up, got it situated, and
once the players diffused, then Callie went off.
Yeah.
So did it start because Jeffrey Simmons got the best of Skoronski and J.C. Latham took up for his guy?
So there were two. There was like an early scuffle and then the next kind of big scuffle. I think it started, Mason Kinsey had a DB pinned down, and I don't remember what DB it was.
It was actually Rashad Weaver is what I read. I don't know how he ended up with Rashad Weaver, but
maybe it came in motion.
I didn't see who it was.
Yeah, I couldn't see what it was.
Because immediately, so Kinsey had him pinned down and stayed there, didn't get up, right? Which
that frustrated.
Get your A up and get back to the huddle and let's go, right? Come on, Kinsey. But that kind of started it all, and then everybody, the scrum automatically goes in, and then you can't see anything because there's so many players. But I did see, who was it? Anthony Kendall, who is a corner, comes running in, throwing a punch. I did see that. I'm like, dude, really? You're fighting for a roster spot. Don't be doing that. But anyway, and then Big Jeff came in, and that all blew up. But I'll say this. Big Jeff was talking all practice. Yeah. And he was getting on Cushenberry. Cushenberry, I think, Slay, you can help me here. You were watching too. But Cushenberry messed up a snap, which was very uncharacteristic for him. And so then all of a sudden, Big Jeff is like, oh, he's scared. Yeah. They're scared. And so Big Jeff is egging it all on. Yeah. And then I think the Big Jeff, J.C. Latham stuff was going on the entire time. And honestly, I think that's a vet leader in the NFL being like, hey, Rook, welcome to the league.
He was trying to get it out of him.
I
could totally see that.
Egging him on.
Listen, we've been doing this.
Poking it. I mean,
we've been doing this a long time, right? And so a lot of people in the chat are like, look, head coaches don't want fights. They don't. Because of
it's a waste
injury,
of time and
it's a waste of time,
energy.
But I'm telling you, man, every year we go, who's going to be the first fight? And I was just thinking about that this morning. We didn't do it this year.
It's going to happen regardless. And
it's always the trench guys.
I would have absolutely said that the first fight would be because of Big Jeff. Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or Arden Key. Amani Hooker was on with Buck. Remember we talked about this, and Buck asked him who's the biggest trash talker out there, and he said, well, mean trash talker, Big Jeff. Funny trash talker, Arden Key. Mm-hmm. And so, no surprise that Big Jeff. And look, we've been around these guys a long time. I know people have very strong opinions one way or the other about all of this, and we'll get to it all. I just know, having been around a lot of those dudes, when you get leadership in the trenches, they do this stuff on purpose.
And listen,
on both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball.
I was just going to say, here's the
They're
other
challenging young players. That's what. My guess. He didn't say that. I'm just guessing.
My take was he was challenging Latham, welcome to the league, buddy.
Stand up for yourself.
Stand up for yourself. And he did. Latham did. Absolutely. Went back at Jeff. I think this entire offensive line has an attitude to them that we haven't seen here in 3 years.
Since Lawan, Southfold, Ben Jones, all them guys.
Those boys had that kind of swagger attitude. Now, I'm not saying that means they're going to be great or not, but I'm just saying with Skoronski, with Latham, with Cushenberry, those three guys right there have an attitude to them as a whole that we haven't seen in a while. And so I think that Big Jeff probably was like, wait a second, I'm not used to the offensive line coming back at me, So that probably had something to do with it. But I will say this, and Slay, I want your take on the whole thing too, and then we'll get into the deeper part. But I didn't have an issue with it until it got so out of hand that, it stopped practice. Callahan has to lose his mind over it. And then you look at Big Jeff, and Big Jeff is gassed because he just used all of his energy to get in this brawl and be a big part of it. And that's where I was like, okay, now the line has crossed, because you can be aggressive and you can skate on that line in a practice, especially the first padded practice. But when it affects your ability to work the next couple of plays and it stops practice and wastes time, that's when you have an issue. But at the end of the day, it happens every single camp all across the league. It's the first day of pads. It's different. And you've got some rookies that on the offensive line that are going to have to step up and step in. So I didn't have a huge issue with that part of it, with Big Jeff running his mouth and whatever. It was when it got out of hand where, as a leader, I thought Big Jeff needed to step back and say, okay, I've set the tone. I established this. Now let's get to work.
It's the reaction to the fighting, since we're just talking about that right now. The strong reaction by some fans to the fighting has really surprised me, because this happens every year.
Every year. The
Colts just had one. Michael Pittman was it happens at every team, every practice. It's hot. They're leaning on each other, especially the guys in the trenches, and there becomes a frustration level where you just snap.
And Slay, before you offer your take on it, like Matt in the chat said, Big Jeff looked like a clown today. Don't expect this group to be real, though. Would Eddie ever do it? Derek, Chris Johnson, Keith Bullock, McNair. I could go on and on. Jeff is a clown. Yeah, Keith Bullock would do it and dominate that. And he was a leader and one of the best on the field.
He actually tweeted this morning. Yes. He said day one in padded practice where the men separate themselves from the boys.
Yep.
See, this is where, guess what? Honestly, it's not supposed to be any understanding in this part of it between fans and players. It's not supposed to be. This is what it is. This happens. If this would have happened 3-4 weeks down the line with preseason about to get in the thick of things, then we got a problem, because it ain't no pulling back. Now we're a little bit out of control. But day one coming in and we not in shells, we in full pass and it's early. Like we just coming
8
from
a.m.
Yeah, we coming from stretching, we coming from individuals. This is our first time getting 11 on 11, and I've been waiting on it.
And
y'all been waiting on it too. And
I
it's
know
still
it's
hot.
early, but it was hot.
Without question. And you got to think, man, you said, Babsy, that this line, you don't want to go out there and say this line gonna be all that. I'm here to say I done watched lines grow before, being in the spot that I've been able to be in, and when they start with a nucleus like this, this line gonna be awesome. You know what I mean? Not yet, but this line gonna be awesome, because you got a nucleus from that left, that center, all the way over to that left side that ain't going. That are alpha males who coming in there and want to work together, and you can see it growing. So
and aren't going to step down from Big Jeff.
Can't wait to. No, they want to. And guess what? Big Jeff got a rider next to him too. His name is Big Sweat. He gonna ride too. Guess who behind him? Davison. What's the other? It's about 3-4 D tackles. All of them ready to get down. That's what it is. That's what you want to have. That's the coach you want to have. So look, when you go into it in this situation, and it's a fight to start, good. I'm looking around to make sure everybody in it. D-Hop was in it. Everybody's like, that's what's supposed to happen, man. Yes, you are different units and you all ride as one. But when we out here, man, we grinding together, man. Everybody better jump in. It's a part of it. Now you got the pecking order set, and it's still going to have to get set some more. This started last week in shells. Skoronski's not going, people. You looking for a dog? 2 years, if that man ain't a Pro Bowler, he'll be an All-Pro. I'm on the limb. And if he ain't, it's because this market we in, and they just bullshitting over us. Now, I'm just like that. But outside of that, Latham, he coming with him. He ain't going to leave him left, man. Big Jeff is setting the tone. He is the leader of this group. Anybody that say you ain't, you a fool. And you wouldn't say that to him. This is the same person that you cheer for that go out there with a battered ankle, that can barely walk and still continue to play. He wasn't soft then. He wasn't a clown then. Like, why is he a clown now? Because he's setting the tone? This is what you want. You ain't seen tough in a long time. You wonder why people kept on getting hit behind the line. You got a guy like Derrick Henry that's getting hit 5 yards behind the line? Because they ain't firing off and fighting.
Because the offensive line was soft.
Man, listen here, man. This is how it's supposed to be. And get back used to it. You got an old school coach that sat down with RK Dub today, Bill Callahan, and had a great interview and talked about it. This is what you understand is supposed to happen. This is a different type of game, different type of mentality. And it can get pushed because you got two people angry. It's alpha on alpha, man.
So guess
what happen that way?
Guess what happens when they start playing other people?
Come on, dog.
Yeah, it's real angry.
And guess who's going to be questioning them?
That's what it should be.
When they come to the sideline, hey, dog, why you not doing him like you did us in day one of practice?
Somebody in the chat said brothers fight.
Come on, man. This is what happened.
I've
never been a part of a good team. Never been a part of a good team where it's not fights. Never.
So
people mention that bully team.
Yeah.
I mean, Alvin Haynesworth and all those guys, they were fighting all the time.
Oh, man, this is what it's about, man.
Guess what?
Day one.
Guess what kind of mindset that team had when they got to the regular season? They're all together.
Day one in pass, man. Day one in pass. So don't get overthrown with it. Yes, it's kids out there. It's also kids in the stand when they're watching the game. If you get close enough to sit behind bench, you'll hear all kind of things being said. That's just a part of it, y'all.
I remember as a kid sitting behind Coach K on the bench.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have the opportunity to say,
Coach K.
Yeah, like, come on, dog. So
I was indoctrinated early.
I'm fine with it, y'all.
Now, a lot of people in the chat are saying this, okay, like our issue with Big Jeff is not the fight on the first day of pads. It's not how he handled that. Now, I did say I would have liked to see a little more leadership from him at the end of that to
But this is they ain't no basketball. We don't know what he said in the huddle or what he said in the locker room or what he gonna say in the film to his guys. Like it ain't gotta be on display for us.
But a lot of people are saying, I haven't seen anybody that cares about the fighting in practice. Kent says this, everyone I've seen that has issue with Big Jeff's reaction is because of what happened with Buck afterwards.
So we'll get to that. So if the Buck thing didn't happen, people would have a different opinion about what was going on today?
That's what they claim, but it's easy to claim that when it
all right. So
doesn't happen.
So you have something else?
Hell yeah, I got something else. When the line is drawn, talking about that situation with Buck, when the line is drawn, he said Big Jeff came out and said this.
Can I read Buck's tweet?
Go ahead.
And kind of work through that. So Buck tweeted this. Simmons just swung at Latham after some pushing and shoving. Ref said 98 would have been tossed in the game. He's back in for the next two and immediately starts a brawl. Sloppy. Simmons needs to lock TF in. So apparently, I don't know.
I didn't see him swing.
After practice.
I'll just say that, but
Big Jeff was in the building, came out of the building, I guess having read that tweet. I don't know.
Probably so.
He came out of the building to go sign autographs
for the kids. Those right there, yeah.
And all the kids were right in front of Buck's tent.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So when seeing
just to give it more perspective.
And it's a backdrop on that even more. Like when the last time that he was able to hear from Buck was when Buck went on a 15-minute tirade or 10-minute tirade, whatever it was, on his show and called him soft. So when you call a person soft, when you call a person soft in sports, and I'm telling you from an athletic player perspective, you call a person soft in the sport, that's like you might as well go spit on him or slap him.
Now, the reason Buck called him soft, not because of his play on the field, he called him soft because Big Jeff tweeted about the media Tennessee in this market, the Tennessee media trying to be all buddy and then turning around. And honestly, I don't think Big Jeff was talking about Buck.
No, I think he just hit
Buck
dog
just
holler.
ran with it. Yeah. But he was not talking about, I mean, I'm sure he was talking about
I think he was talking in general. He threw it out there. It could have been anybody. But this is the thing. When you said that and then you went on the tirade about that, knowing that was coming off the heels of Jamal Adams getting signed and everybody throwing their hands up in the air. Nobody knew what he was signed for. Nobody knew if it was a high risk, high reward, or low risk, high reward, whatever it was. Everybody jumped on, Jamal Adams can't be doing it. And Big Jeff like, wait a minute. Hold on, man. You don't even know what's going on. You ain't seen anything. So that was him coming in defense as the leader of his team, as the captain, to defend his guys. Not him personally. I think Big Jeff, honestly, if it would have came at him at that point, he would have been like, all right, let's have a conversation. But going at my guy don't even got nothing to do with this. Let me go on and address this now. So it was handled like it was handled. This came out. Big Jeff approached it like he wanted to approach it and told Buck what he told him, and that was that on that. So and ain't no conversation that need to be had.
For those that don't know, Buck was live on the air getting ready to interview Roger McCreary. He was about to sit down and just started screaming stuff at Buck, and Buck was like, sit down, Jeff. I thought Buck handled today well.
Yeah,
honestly.
and I don't think Jeff should have sat down. Like, it ain't, what are you gaining from sitting down? I'm gonna say what I need to say. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's what it is. But the thing is, man, that I think that irritates guys, and it has a transparency that you'll get the blinds or the blackout curtains put down on it, where it won't be no transparency. It's things like this. When you can go to a guy and you're in that same age bracket as him. So you're looked upon a little different than somebody a little older walking in there. You know what I'm saying? That's been covering. But you're on the, hey, man, what's up, man? Hey, how you doing? It's buddy. And then all of a sudden, however you want to take it, trolling or doing your job, whatever it is, you turn the story on them it's a way to deliver the story. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knows that. You can't play the fence. There is no gray area. You're either here or you're either there. The reason that you're the way you are with ESPN and coaches and stuff is because your delivery. You know what I'm saying? The reason coaches trust you, Babs, we're going to bring you in. Hell yeah, sit in this coaches meeting. Everybody don't get to sit in coaches meeting, do they? Night before a game? No, Babsy, sit right here. Reason being, because of your delivery. So you're not playing defense. Okay, if I need to protect you a little bit, maybe I'll protect you. If I need to do my job, I'm going to let you know I'm about to do my job. You got a problem with it? Let's talk about it first, and then I'm going to come out with it. It ain't no just going out and delivering like that.
This has probably happened to you, I'm sure, right?
Without question.
So as long as you know, like if I say, hey, Slay, we're good, man, I appreciate the relationship, all this.
Yeah.
I'm in the opinion business, though.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
And so that where you know where the line is.
And that's fine. So guess what? Now I understand. All right, there it is, man. So hey, man, we're going to keep it professional.
So you're going to keep it at arm's length.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. What's up, man?
I got you.
Keep it like that.
That makes sense.
And then I guard it with what I say, and I say around you as well. So that's why I think the problem lies, and that's why I'm taking it. I think Big Jeff is all the way in the right. I don't care what you say to him. That's a man. You can say what you want to say. Be prepared, whatever the consequences is that come with it.
See, and this is where me and you come from different backgrounds, and we're on different sides of the fence, because I come from the media side. I know I played, but let's be honest, I played college volleyball. Like that, it's not like I had media covering me, every single day. You lived that life. You lived that professional athlete life, dealing with the media, digging on stories. You lived that.
That's why me and Chris Logan go to the Final Eight and to the Elite Eight and have a great time.
Chris Lowe is about to go to his grave with
what I'm saying?
I mean, not about. God, that's not bad. One day, Chris Lowe will go to his grave. Sorry.
Just kill some low dog. Sorry, Lowe.
Yeah. But Chris Lowe will certainly one day go to his grave with secrets that he knows about you and that team and everybody. And he's protected you guys forever. I get it.
And I'm okay with that.
But this is where I'm different. And from a media standpoint, I understand what you're saying about Buck as far as both sides, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're going to go be a jerk to these players that you cover on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, you still have a job to do as a reporter, if that is your job. Now, our job is a little different on this radio show. We're not
way different.
Well, I mean, we don't care to break news.
Right.
I mean, we still do.
We do because of relationships.
Right. But that is
You're not getting 60 minutes with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have a good time.
Right. And we're good with that. But in Buck's kind of line of work, he is a reporter.
He is.
It is part of his job to speak truth about what's going on. His tweet today,
he's in the opinion business. I don't disagree on that
level. His opinion and his truth about what was going on at practice. I didn't disagree necessarily with it. I did disagree with the style at which Buck put that out. But I'll say this too. I'm not giving Big Jeff a pass on how he treated and reacted to Buck in the middle of his live radio show with Roger McCreary sitting down. I thought, as a leader, you've got to be the bigger man.
Yeah, and then when you bring it to my job, I'm bringing it to your job too.
But I know
Buck
how
handled it well.
He did handle it well,
because
and I know
how else
how
could he have handled it,
emotional.
though?
I mean,
whole question.
You could get frazzled, and I mean, all kinds of, because that's not something.
I thought it was frazzled saying, I'll deal with you later. You deal with who later? Who the hell you gonna deal with later? If you're talking to me, you deal with me later?
But inviting him to sit
down. What you mean,
And
deal with me later?
This is where we're different, because, and I get it.
You better off ignoring me. I'm sorry, my bad, man. I got you.
Yes,
That's
and you're talking about the
for sure that. Yeah.
the passionate player. I'm going to protect my team and this but my take is Big Jeff as the face of this franchise right now, the leader of this franchise, to me, has to keep his emotions in check. Go watch the Herm Edwards. Don't press send. And at the end of the day, if you have beef with Buck, talk to him, but don't put yourself in this limelight to where now everybody nationally is questioning Big Jeff from a maturity leadership standpoint. And I don't think that's fair, because I believe in Big Jeff as a leader and in his maturity. I think he just had a weak moment today.
I don't think.
And emotions were running high, and all of this. It was kind of a perfect storm.
Man, they was going to judge him like this regardless anyway from the national media. I'm talking about the Tennessee media. Now he looking at it. So now, if that's the case and everybody grouped in together, then guess what? Who's going to respond now? So you asked me a question. I got the generic answer for you now then.
And that's the way we're going to play. That's what'll happen.
No, that's the way I would play it.
From a fan standpoint, you're going to get less content.
Exactly.
That's how it affects fans.
Exactly.
All right, we'll talk more about this when we come back. If you want in, 615-737-1045. Also, we'll play that little interaction between Buck and Big Jeff when we come back. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
What's happening, man? If you're tired and you're lacking motivation and drive, gaining weight, or noticing loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone, and I give you the opportunity to get on it. Don't wait. Find out right now. Get over to Low T Center, and you'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. Also understand that Low T Center is also checking your BMI and your health. All it can be evaluated, and the treatment and prescription for weight loss medication. So go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
3HL 1045 The Zone. Appreciate you visiting with us, including us in your day. Brett Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. Talking a lot of Titan stuff and fights and media player squabbles. Somebody said Buck and Big Jeff probably having a beer right now. It's probably going to take longer than that.
I mean, this Buck thing has now gone viral, national.
An hour before the show, that video had 1.4 million views.
Yeah, the All-Pro. It's All-Pro. As small as we want to say the market is and how much we not covered, like if
Doug Kleiman put it out there, but some of the boys put it out there.
If it would have been Roger McCreary, no knock to him, but you think it would have had the same kind of traction?
That's a great point.
You know what I mean? It's Big Jeff. Like Babs, you just said, he's the face of the franchise. Ain't no lie. He's the face of the franchise.
I want to go back to Sweat. So should it be Bigger Sweat?
No.
Big Jeff's a thing.
Yeah. Big Jeff is T-Sweat.
T-Sweat. That's it.
Make it last forever. T-Sweat.
His legs look like tree trunks in that picture next to Jeff.
But that's what it is, man, and that's where you get the line drawn, man, and you hate it because, like you said, the content and the transparency that's given out, they don't know.
That's where the fans are affected.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because all the players now will lock it down.
That's what I'm saying. Because your leader is. If he chose to do that. Not saying that he would choose to do that. I'm just saying.
Maybe he won't. Maybe he doesn't.
Exactly.
Maybe he doesn't.
But Big Jeff don't.
He certainly could, though.
He don't know who Buck is like that. All he sees is what he sees from him. Or he don't know who I am like that. Well, he might know a little bit. But I'm just saying, like, it's a line drawn, man, and you get grouped into that because of your media. You know what I'm saying? I'm media.
I hope they don't group us together.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But
because we talk about the transparency from this staff, from Rand, from Callie.
We love it.
And everybody, and we certainly appreciate that, especially from what we came from. So I hope that this doesn't make it go away.
How do you filter it, though? If you're a player.
Well, so...
Yeah, those guys will be a little different, probably.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. They ain't really got
certain
time.
people, but that's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
By the way, we're watching 3-on-3. Did y'all know Jimmer Fredette is on the American 3-on-3?
He wanted to go the first time, I think, with him.
Hey, I love Jimmer.
Mm-hmm.
I love that guy. He does all these like trick
shots.
We're totally off the tracks here, but he does all these trick shots and puts them on social media and does it with his kids. He's awesome. Anyway,
wait. Hang on.
What happened?
Dylan on YouTube. Jeff ain't running up on PK like that. PK stands on business and would have busted Big Jeff's head. You are so wrong with that take.
Seriously, PK apologizes after he's a jerk to everybody, hoping they'll still talk to him.
Stop it, man. Good
Lord. Sorry, I had to stop on that one.
Yeah, we ain't even going to acknowledge them.
YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch is where you can watch the show live.
Twitch, please.
And there are a ton of y'all watching on YouTube. I know that. So we appreciate that. All right, this is the interaction. This is as Buck Rising is doing his show today, and Roger McCreary is getting ready to sit down to have a conversation with Buck, and Big Jeff comes over.
What's going on, Jeff? Well, Jeff, you want to sit down? We can talk whenever you want to talk. Jeff, we'll deal with that later. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, I mean, we're on the air right now.
Carrot, you do a lot of talking on social media.
I'm right here, Jeff. We can talk anytime you want to. Unbelievable.
We got to make that happen.
Well, we'll deal with that later on. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, if you want to sit down and talk about this, we can talk about this.
I'm telling you, stop talking on social media. Talk to me.
I'm talking to you right here. Jeff, we tried to talk to you last week. I'm being rude to Roger. We'll deal with you later.
Yeah, I forgot about that last little line there.
Yeah, that was
inviting him to sit down.
Point, he was.
I really wish he would have. That would have been an incredible conversation.
Okay, but can I say this?
Yep.
Big Jeff has to control those emotions in that moment. Don't roll your eyes at me, Ron Slay. Ronald Sylvester Slay. Do not roll your eyes at me. But this is what I'm telling you. There were kids all right there. He has got to control his emotions in that moment. If he wants to rip Buck when he's not on air and when there's not kids around, I am all for it. Tell him what you think of him. Absolutely. But in that moment, I know he was emotional, but he has got to harness that.
Man, you bring it to my job, I got to bring it to your job. We're on even playing ground. Yes.
With kids around.
With kids
talking
around.
like that.
With kids. Listen, kids, I love y'all to death.
Wrong.
I love y'all to death, kids. Man,
You're
guess
wrong.
what? Guess what? The good thing I'm going to be me in front of the kids. I'm going to be me from behind the kids.
Yeah.
I smoke cigars in front of the kids. I smoke cigars on the porch when it ain't no kids.
That is
this
true.
This is
you do
me.
smoke in front of baby Babs.
This is my thing. Like I'm saying, like, he wanted to address it right then, and I don't think he would have if he didn't go out there and tweet that. He just told him, dude, you do a lot of talking on Twitter.
Are you talking about the tweet today?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
I think that's what sent him
You
over
do a
the
lot
edge.
of talking
There
on
is
Twitter.
no reason that Big Jeff should have even known that tweet happened
That's
today.
a culmination of things, though,
He has got to
Babsy,
put the blinders
it's
on.
70 other
and
guys
not
in that
give-
locker room. You think Big Jeff had to look at his phone for somebody to tell him?
I'm just saying.
That lets you know the word going around.
But the thing is, you cannot allow and I love you, Buck, but you can't allow a peon reporter to get to you
Guess what?
like
That's included.
that.
Guess what?
That's included.
Guess what? I'm walking back out
All
there
of
too.
us.
I'm walking back out there
All
too.
of us.
I'm walking back out there too. I got something to say.
You are.
Yeah, and I want to make sure everybody heard.
And it had to
Because
have
everybody
been,
just heard your rant 4 weeks ago.
this was building.
And nobody stopped
This was
it?
building. And then you had the fight and all that stuff. And so you're already like at an emotional thing. And practice had just ended. And he went in the building. And probably what you said probably happened. Somebody told him.
Easily. Man.
And then he's going to go
Jeff, you
address
see
it.
what are you talking about?
Imagine if he was in a media market like DC
It's cool.
or Philly.
It's cool.
Or even perfect example, like Mason Rudolph came over after he was signing autographs and
This is different.
was like, oh my gosh, like this was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
These people are so nice and they're saying please and thank you and
Yeah.
they're letting someone go in front of them because there's a kid. He's like, I've never seen anything like this because Pittsburgh was different. The media market in Pittsburgh is different. Imagine if Jeff were in one of those markets.
Yeah, guess what they would have been saying? You better deliver. And he's been delivering. So what you talking about with me? What am I doing that's soft? What have I showed you that was ever soft? What did I ever show you that I was out of control?
But Bud called him soft from an emotional standpoint of letting media.
That word is a trigger
You know
word.
what that like?
That word's a trigger word.
Soft is the trigger.
Yeah.
What?
It's huge.
Like,
all right, let's do this.
SAWFT.
Let's do this.
Soft slate.
This will be a continuing conversation throughout today's show. When we come back, we will talk about what happened on the field with the Titans, with Jim Wyatt from TennesseeTitans.com. Stay tuned. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Want to talk to you about Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Maybe you got a little fiery and, punched a hole in your door or bumped out your windows and you need new ones. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville can help you out. Don't worry. Just give them a call and they will give you a deal. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months. And then atop of that, 50% off qualifying installations. And you might be surprised to learn how affordable replacement windows are from Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Slate is still going off over there as I'm trying to tell you about Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. I love this, though. You get the perspective from everybody. Anyway, so yeah, give Pella a call. Sometimes it's time to replace things in your house, and windows and doors maybe aren't the sexiest replacement, but sometimes you just have to do it. And what a great time to do it now with Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Schedule your free consultation. Tell them Dawn sent you. Check out that limited time special offer I mentioned at PellaNashville.com.
So many people trust Two Rivers Ford. Football players, working moms, business owners. Why? Because Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hunk. As Titans had their first practice today in pads, you also had a little bit of a skirmish that happened between a few players that you might have heard of. Afterwards, Brian Callahan was asked about said fight.
It is what it is. Like, it's football. I don't mind guys setting a tone with the intensity ramped up, and we just got to understand that we can play to the edge and we can still play within the rules. And fighting's a penalty. It's usually an ejection. It hurts our team. We can't have that. I think they're all aware of that, and that's essentially what the message was in that huddle.
The MLB trading deadline is going to be coming up, and it will pass when 3HL wraps up. So far, the Atlanta Braves have traded Tyler Matzik to the Giants in exchange for two former Braves, Jorge Soler and Luke Jackson. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Three HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City, and there are storms popping up around, so keep an eye on that deal. Boy, there's storms out there on the practice field today. Talked a lot about the Titans practice at training camp today. 615-737-1045. You want in Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay with you. Fiery today up in here.
Absolutely. It's first day for pads, baby.
And it's funny because,
it's fiery all across here.
In the chat, it's like, Don's the only one speaking truth. Slay's the only one speaking truth. Don's the only.
It's like 50-50.
Here's the thing, too. Like, look, we all love each other. Y'all two in the chat, we're one big family, and you're going to have disagreements, and you're going to disagree on things. If we all agreed on everything, I say this all the time, it would be a boring world.
Actually, Slay, we usually agree on pretty much everything, but we are on different sides
we
of the
agreed
fence
all the way
on
up to
one.
that part, to the media versus player in a sense, that part.
Yeah. But can I also say this? The people in the chat that are like, I'm done with Big Jeff, and he's trouble, and he's that. Stop.
Come on.
That is the most absurd thing I have ever heard.
Come on, dog.
He is not a problem. He will learn from this.
He is most definitely a problem for other teams.
He is a problem on the field, and that's what I care about. I don't know about you guys.
Wait till they turn all of this attention that they have with each other right now toward a common goal.
Yes.
Which is what's building.
And you guys know how much I love Big Jeff and his heart and all of that. I just thought that he lacked a little bit of leadership today, and it's fine. He'll learn from it and rock on as the face of this franchise.
Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com joins us now. Jimmy, what's up? How are you?
How's everybody doing? Yeah, even Dawn, I thought Dawn might get a little riled up out there today. She got cut off on a question over by Malik Willis and by a reporter
I heard about
not
that.
to be named, and she was mumbling, I've noticed.
I was fired up. Why? You know why? I'm like, you have all the time. The Titans are so good with giving us time with these guys and asking questions. Why are you going to come and interrupt me as I'm asking my third question in a row so that I can have 3 in a row to play on our show?
You know,
and you're
she's
going to
doing
come
that.
busting in here trying to ask your question, talking over me like a, anyway.
There goes Matt Thompson.
Sorry, Jimmy. Yes, I was a little. Could you tell I was a little fired up?
I could tell you didn't like it.
Yeah, sorry, Jimmy. Sorry you had to witness that.
There's so much to get into. One thing, like, it's weird for me to see the fan take on they can't believe there was a fight at practice, lack of leadership by Big Jeff, all these things. And somebody mentioned Keith Bullock never got into a fracas. I'm like, that Bullock team, they were fighting all the time in practice, man.
Oh, I've seen fights a lot worse than that one. I mean, it was early on in camp, and it's not what you want to see right out of the gate. And it wasn't just Big Jeff. I mean, there were some other guys in it that kind of took things to another level, and not what you want to see, with your own teammates. But that happens in football, and believe me, there have been a lot worse fights when tempers get flaring and guys want to defend guys with the same color jerseys on, then that's the kind of stuff that happens when emotions boil over. So, I saw Brian Callahan really mad for the first time since he's been here. I mean, he kind of operates, lets his assistants and lets his coordinators kind of do their work during practice, and he very mild-mannered, but I think he even saw enough on today, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow.
Then this is one of the first times, don't you think, Jim, to agree or disagree that you got a different mixture as far as vets and rooks, or if not rooks, second-year guys in the mix that's still trying to establish themselves and, establish the pecking order. I expect it to be high tempers like this.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, especially the first day in pads.
There you go.
These guys have been going at it all off season, and then during the handful of days to start camp, and then you put pads on for the first time. And rookies trying to show they're not going to back down from the veterans, and veterans who are thinking these guys need to respect them a little bit more. I think there's you kind of work your way through some of that stuff as you go through camp, but not surprised at all by what I saw. But you can't have it happen in a game. That's right. The thing about Jeff is that you get back-to-back 15-yard penalties in a game, and you're going to get thrown out, and that's what the officials said. Yeah. That we're observing practices is that that 98's gone if that happens in a game. So. He has to keep his emotions. Check a lot of guys. I mean, there were, and I don't want to start naming names because there were so many guys in the mix, but there was another player that came from outside of the kind of the dog pile there.
With a full-arm shield.
Somebody in the back. And
I named that one.
That's the kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you can't have either. And so it's not just Jeff. There were several guys that were doing it, but you got to be able to practice together. You can't have guys get hurt.
Jim Wyatt with us from TennesseeTitans.com. You got Moan behind you on a Harley? Is that what's going on?
Are you on the racetrack?
Got somebody in a Hardy. I just jumped in and put you on Bluetooth, and I got a guy that's trying to put on a show out here.
Is he messing with you, Jimmy? Hey, I know it's an emotional day. We got tempers rising. Don't be the guy.
He goes. Remember Pac-Man in the orange Lamborghini? That was
he doesn't want this smoke.
Clip that, Jeff. Please clip that.
We're saving that one, Jimmy.
Jim Wyatt with us. Hey, man, how about a Caleb Farley question? Quarterback Caleb Farley with another nice day out there, man. Very impressive so far.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is he hasn't gotten a whole lot of reps, even with Chidobe Awuzie and L'Jarius Sneed limited in practices. You've got backups, so you're getting a longer look. I think guys like Trey Avery, Jarvis Brownlee, Roger McCree, those are the guys I've really noticed the most. When other guys haven't been out there. I thought Farley had his most noticeable day today. I mean, he broke up a pass against DeAndre Hopkins in one-on-ones. There was a play in team drills later on where he was right in the middle of it, broke up a ball. He's competing, and he's out there, which is a start for him. It's been so long since he's been able to string together a lot of practices and not have limitations. So he's just got to keep going. I mean, let's face it, he's going to have a hard time making this team because you start doing the math. Yeah. And I mentioned some of them, Awuzie and Sneed and McCreary and Brownlee and Avery. That's 5. Ed Gear, I think, is the guy they think a lot of. That's 6. Giulali, 7. And I'm not saying all those guys are ahead of him. I'm just saying that's the kind of stuff that's what he's dealing with, is a bunch of guys who are hungry, who are feisty, and who are also playing well. So just because he has a good day doesn't mean he's climbing in the pecking order.
Man, you're just killing me. I mean, with everything he's been through, whether it's here or somewhere else, I hope he can get it together physically and get that opportunity.
Another guy I wanted
to... I hope so. And I think the opinion maybe of, you know how it is when a guy's picked early, he's under a lot of scrutiny, and for the longest, for the start of his career, there were people questioning the GM about why you make that pick. They were questioning the player about why he hasn't performed more. And if you just sit back and look at everything that he's gone through, from losing his mother while he was in college to losing his father last year to dealing with the ACL and a back, he has kept fighting through all of that to compete and to be on the team. And so, yeah, I think everybody's pulling for him. He's just, he's just now at a position that's changed dramatically since he's been here.
Jim Wyatt with us, TennesseeTitans.com.
Jimmy, another guy I wanted to ask you about, man. Two of them, when the offense was running the rock, and trying to open up holes, it was a guy with two guys that kept on popping off to me, man, and that was Jack Gibbons and Kenneth Murray. What have been your takeaways from those two guys early on so far?
Well, Kenneth Murray, we didn't see much of him during the offseason because he was rehab and they were trying to get him right. And the very first day he was out there pads, I noticed him, and I think I've noticed him every practice since. This is the fourth open practice that they've had. He's been one of the standouts, whether it's in pass, that's in coverage or whether that's in run defense. I mean, he's been really good, and Gibbons is, I think, is somebody that a lot of people felt like was kind of holding a spot for Cedric Gray until the season started, and then he'd step aside and make way for the rookie. I think I tweeted, I did a analysis at the end of June and said that Gibbons is the favorite to be the inside backer, and somebody jumped in there on social media and said something like, "Well, this is a rare bad take by Jim Wyatt," which I took as a compliment, saying it was a rare bad take, but they were kind of dismissing Gibbons from the competition, and I'm telling you, he has continued to do what he did last year and since he's been in the league, and that's be where he's supposed to be physical, play smart, and it's gonna be hard for Cedric Gray to unseat him, to start the season if he's able to do it at all this year.
So the news coming down today about Arden Key, I think PK broke it about popped for PEDs, 6-game suspension. Obviously, we just saw Danico Autry with the Texans also get popped. What do you know about the Arden Key situation and how Coach Callahan, I guess, handled the news?
Yeah, I mean, he handled it by saying he was aware of it and it's a league issue. They're the ones that are going to have to release any information as far as that goes. What happens most of the time when these come out is the players going through an appeals process, and then if the appeals process doesn't produce something positive, then the league will release information then. So I imagine we're still kind of in that wait and see period. If he is out for 6 games, puts a lot of guys on the spot. Obviously, I mean, good news is Harold Landry's back in practice, and that was never going to be an issue. Yeah. But that would be a big loss if that ends up being the case, and they're going to need some guys, whether it's Rashad Weaver or whether it's Jalen Harrell or obviously got some other guys in the mix like Shane Ray. They're going to need some players to step up. Did I mention Weaver? I think Weaver's got a chance to really. This is his best chance to help himself. And then I think you got to, like Rand Carthon said from the beginning, I think it applies to edge rusher. I think it applies to offensive line. I think it applies to safety. I think you're watching, seeing who's out there, and you're doing anything you can to help strengthen your team. If guys across the league are cut.
What was your take on Will Levis today at practice? There were a lot of moments I thought he struggled a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it's crazy because I watched him and didn't think that he had a great day. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that he did, but I went back and looked at my numbers from practice. I was surprised at his completion percentage. I think he ended up being, let me before I read off what it was. Got so many numbers going through my mind. I think he ended up finishing. I think he finished hitting 10 of his last 11 passes, which helped his numbers, and was 15 of 19 on the day. So I thought he was a little shaky early. He threw the pick. He mishandled a snap. Couldn't find an open receiver. Not that that's all on him, and had to tuck the ball and run with it. That's the way practice started. And I thought, okay, he's off to a poor start. But Jay, he hit 7 of his last 8 passes in the final team period and finished 15 of 19 for the day. So numbers were better than maybe how it looked. And I thought the defense won the day.
Yeah.
And I liked how feisty they were, but I thought the offense settled down and played better at the end.
Yeah, one-on-one's open for video today, so people can go search out Titans videos from practice and see wide receiver versus DB one-on-one. And you're right, just watching through those drills, look like the DBs definitely more than held their own.
Yeah, and those are great. I mean, those are the most exciting. I mean, that's the best filmable parts of practice is those one-on-ones with the wide receiver and the DBs. Because, as you know, a lot of the team stuff and 7-on-7 stuff where they're working on things they don't want to give away, you don't get to see those. But the intensity that you see in the one-on-ones, it's fun to watch. I mean, Calvin Ridley, I was fortunate to be in a good spot where I got his whole body and including his feet on there. He made an incredible catch where he got 2 feet in bounds on the sideline that initially I thought was incomplete, but after watching it back, it's very clear he got both feet in. So that was the catch of one-on-ones. And then for that, I thought, Brownlee, you mentioned Farley earlier, so I thought the corners were really scrappy and broke up a lot of passes and got messed up the rhythm of the quarterback and the receivers.
Ridley's footwork is ridiculous. I mean, we went out there for day one and walked over there. I watched one drill and I was like, that dude is different. And his feet reminded me of Derek Mason when he was here. I used to say Derek Mason's got basketball feet because he would move his feet 8,000 times in a second, and it was hard to get his double moves and all that. But Slay made a great point earlier. It's not just Calvin Ridley running these routes; it's Calvin Ridley running these routes so well that he creates space even when he is stopping and then going again.
Yeah, and he really busted out there too. This is not a guy who's coasting, trying to get himself ready. For the start of the season. He's obviously doing that, but he's doing it by being very explosive off the line of scrimmage and giving 100% on every snap. So I've been really impressed with him, and I think the receiver group is really, is going to get better the more they work in this offense, the more they're with the quarterback, the more they play together. Hadn't been perfect at the start, but we're 4 days into camp.
Tell me about Matthew Jackson. Couple of interceptions today at safety. What's going on with him? Exactly.
I'm kidding, Matthew.
He was young.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, local kid doing well, and I had a couple of good plays. He got here last year, was a little bit of an underdog, and earned himself a spot here for the season. He's matured, kind of knows what he's into, knows what the camp is like, knows what is asked of him. It's different. I mean, he's been around here for a year, but he's got a new defensive coordinator. He's being taught different techniques and different things from position coaches. But great day for him. And and again, you guys have an opportunity now with a woozy sideline for a couple of weeks with L'Jarius Sneed on a maintenance program. Players are getting longer looks, and Matthew Jackson had a good day today. Again, I keep mentioning Brownlee, I keep mentioning Avery, Caleb, as you mentioned, Brent Flash today. So it's fun watching this, and it makes you think. I mean, if the DBs are holding their own against these receivers with some of these backups on the field, just think about maybe the level of intensity and and you're going to see when other guys are back.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, great stuff, man. Appreciate you. TennesseeTitans.com for your Titans content, and we'll talk with you next week, my friend.
Okay, y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks,
there he is,
Jimmy.
Jim Wyatt at J. Wyatt Sports. When we come back, your phone calls. You want to weigh in on all this stuff? 615-737-1045, 615-737-1045. Also, hear from the head coach following practice today. That's next. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
What's happening, man? If you're tired and you're lacking motivation and drive, gaining weight, or noticing loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone, and I'll give you the opportunity to get on it. Don't wait. Find out right now. Get over to Low T Center, and you'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. Also understand that Low T Center is also checking your BMI and your health. All it can be evaluated, and the treatment and prescription for weight loss medication. So go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
3HL 1045 The Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. You okay there, Slay Dog?
Yeah. I got to let my seat down just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
The F&M Bank chat is something else today.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you what.
A lot of people fired up. On all angles of this thing.
Hey, man, the Olympics going on. Where's the unity?
I did have something about the Olympics. Oh, remember we were talking about the Seine River and how it had like E. coli problems and that they were going to have to not do the triathlon or whatever? This was like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So now they're still dealing with it. I thought they had a plan. But anyway, triathlon officials are confident for the men's and women's events to take place Wednesday. The problem is the Seine River is contaminated with E. coli, which is bacteria found on feces. If you're an athlete, you're going to be like, oh, today all of a sudden it's great. Let me get in there.
I'm straight.
Nope.
I'm straight. I'm just going to bow out of it. I'm sorry, America. I don't know why they would even set us up like
That's
this.
your quote? I'm sorry, America.
Yeah, this ain't right, y'all. Y'all know this ain't right.
Yeah, I'm not going to drink feces to win a triathlon.
Y'all know this ain't right.
Team USA plays South Sudan tomorrow. Steph Curry said, we have an appropriate fear. So I read about that. That comes from, well, it came from Steve Kerr, which came from Spurs man. Popovich. And he used to, apparently players said he used to talk in terms of like underdogs in that way, that you have an appropriate fear. He said, we know we can't sleepwalk through any game and feel like you're going to win. Kerr said he was glad that they had already played them so they could get a look.
Yep.
A couple other notes. Buffalo Bills signed safety Kareem Jackson to a one-year deal, so Justin Simmons still out there. About the only safety, right? Yeah. Anybody left?
Looking for that payday, probably.
Blaine?
Yeah, that's the last one. That's the last one.
Might need him.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler thinks Bill Belichick wants Nick Sirianni's job if the Eagles make a move.
Wow.
For that to get out there, Bill had to have told people, right? Like, so, damn. You know, like, if I'm Nick, I'm like, hey, man, I'm over here trying to coach this team.
What would you rather see him at there or Dallas?
Oh, I think Dallas would be glorious.
Could he handle all that?
Jerry would have to back off.
Would he?
That's why it would be glorious.
That'd be nuts.
615-737-1045 if you want in. We've got Titans talk. We've got fights at practice. We've got media player squabbles. 615-737-1045. Robert, next up on 3HL. Robert.
What's up, y'all?
What up, Robert?
What's up, Slade, man? It's Savage, man.
Hey, what up, Savage? What's up? What's going on with you, baby? You've been doing a great job, too, on social media. I've been peeping your family.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. I just wanted to ask y'all, man, and with Matthew Jackson, man, I know y'all just spoke on it, man. He had 2 interceptions and one for a touchdown. What's y'all thoughts on him making the roster for this year, and how's the process?
Man, I think, man, it's open because it is thin still outside of the starters.
Especially at safety.
Yeah, safety is.
So when you're looking at the depth chart right now, you've got Jamal Adams, Monty Hooker, Elijah Molden, Mike Brown, Shaheem Carter, Matthew Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
You keep
just from a numbers standpoint, he's got a better chance.
Yeah. And you keep throwing out 2 interception days.
Right.
He's popping off the tape. That's for sure. And that ain't first day in pads. That's exactly what you want. I think did Callahan speak about him? I think he spoke about him a little earlier, but
Wyatt.
Oh, Wyatt talked
spoke about him and how he's standing out.
Yeah, so that's good. He's in a good spot.
Depending on, I mean, if the Titans, and I don't know, what they. I mean, at this point, what can they end up doing at safety, right? Simmons, yes, is still out there, but yeah, I mean, just from a strictly lack of depth standpoint, he might have a chance there.
Yeah, and there ain't nothing wrong with having a hometown kid on there either.
I love it.
Especially if you're going to be productive.
That's perfect. Yeah, thanks, y'all, man.
Appreciate it, man.
See you, man.
Yeah, man.
Hillsborough Borough.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Rob, too, man. He do a lot of good shining lights on local guys, man, that kind of pop off. Some been forgotten, but do a good job of that. So I was giving him props.
615-737-1045 at 3HL1045. Kevin in Hoptown. Kevin, what's up?
Not much. How you doing today?
Good.
Hey, question. Now, just my opinion, but I think it's good that they got to fighting a little bit. Look, it's hot outside, and you want them to get the competitive juices flowing a little bit, get a little fired up. I mean, you don't want your defensive lineman being known as huggy, fuzzy people. It's good they get a little bit of that competitive.
Or soft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Clay, I've seen you play basketball. I remember you used to throw down back in the day. Wasn't there a time or two maybe you put a little extra mustard on one and,
Absolutely. Versus teammates, too, man. Because, listen, I honestly, it's a pecking order, and I was the little dog. You know what I mean? So I wanted that big dog spot. So, hell yeah, I'm a challenger.
Y'all get to banging down low.
Yeah. My OG, my legend, he came in there, Isaiah Victor, man. That's my guy. And you know what's happening in the descent.
Isaiah Victor was skinny, too.
Yeah, man, but you got to imagine he's 6'10", 6'11", man.
Incredible athlete.
Man, and it was some dog days, dog, and we got into it every time. When we walk back to that room, sit there and play the game all night. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate that, man.
Y'all have a good day.
I think coming from this whole situation, I know we got more callers, man, it's going to be a camaraderie built. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a respect level that's going to be right there. You see it, man, from if you watch some of the greats as far as, like, take Kansas City, for instance. I can guarantee Chris Jones and them going through the same thing with guys like Trey Smith and them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That young offensive line that they had 2 years ago, and they starting to come into their own. Now when they walk into training camp, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Once you get established, once Cushenberry, Skoronski, Latham, hopefully they do their part and they go into year 2, year 3, and you're looking at it, and then they walking in with Big Jeff coming in last year. It's a different kind of, you know what I mean? Like, we getting out and we're in the trenches, we doing 11-on-11. We can probably get something done earlier. But right now, man, this young veteran mix, it's a pecking order, man. I'm sorry. And then you finish last. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think a little bit of that ain't carrying over into this.
That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait to get back out. We've been chomping at the bits to get back out here at this. And this is the first opportunity we get. Yeah, it's supposed to be some chippiness, man. That's what it's about. As long as you build off of it and it don't tear you down, let it build off of it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have a total issue with
No. I'm just saying, addressing it. Yeah.
But seriously, though, when we brought it up to begin the show before we got into the Buck thing, people were like speaking about the fight and saying Big Jeff throwing a punch, that's lack of leadership and all this stuff.
Let me ask you this.
I never saw him throw a punch. Did you?
No, I think I saw a little wild one. But
okay.
Yeah, it was a little,
just a little wild one.
Yeah, it was a little wild one.
I missed that.
It didn't really mean nothing bad. It was just kind of.
It just got to have it.
Yeah. But who do you think? Who do y'all think is the leader of this bunch? The entire team. If you had to take 3 people and send them out there, who are the 3 people you send out there to represent the team?
Well, he's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all right. I mean, we really
who's 2 and 3?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I mean, I guess you can go Levis because he's the starting quarterback. So you have to put QB1 in there. But, like, I mean, other than that, who's number 3? I would say maybe a D-Hop or
D-Hop, Monty Hooker.
Or a Hooker.
I don't even know if I can go Ridley yet.
Maybe it's because I'm just enamored with
no, don't.
he looks on the field.
No, you ain't wrong. Don't me. I'm just saying as his team embodies. I'm just saying because he's fresh to it.
But I would say Big Jeff.
That's a great question, though.
Big Jeff is number 1, and question. 2 and 3 are maybe Levis and D-Hop, and they're further down. Mm-hmm. Honestly,
but some guys could present themselves in that way. Jerry Sneed, for example, Cheeto. Some of those old heads.
I haven't heard from
Dr. Gibby. Like, you could argue because he's so on top of it, but he's not that overly vocal guy. Yeah.
So do we hear a lot from Harold Landry? Because he would be one to come to.
Right.
But I feel like part of that is because he was sick. He's just coming back. And then last year, he was coming off the injury. I felt like he was trying to mentally work himself back. And so it's hard to do that coming off an injury and trying to be a vocal leader, because you had multiple injuries in your career. You've got to focus on that. So I wouldn't go Landry.
I asked that too, because like when you have situations like this and you need someone else to check someone else, who's the checker?
Right, who checks?
You feel what I'm saying?
I think Amani Hooker was
the next
that
one.
today.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And I saw D-Hop get in there a little bit too.
Right.
So his voice, like you just said.
I saw D-Hop and Amani both kind of diffuse the entire situation.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be important moving forward also. So it's an opening for that. I think you mentioned one earlier with Cushenberry. I think both of y'all did. Like, Cushenberry could probably be that guy as well.
He could be one.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's such a great question.
Yeah, you got to have it. You got to have it.
615-737-1045. 3 leaders that you have to send out there to the middle of the field every day.
The coaches can't do it. Coaches can't do it.
Yeah, y'all choose. 615-737-1045.
Xfinity Internet comes with a variety of speeds to choose from, and